2018年度第3回実用英語技能検定1級リスニングテスト
The listening test for the Grade 1 examination is about to begin. Listen carefully to the directions. You will not be permitted to ask questions during the test. This test has 4 parts. All of the questions in these 4 parts are multiple choice questions. For each question, choose the best answer from among the 4 choices written in your test booklet. On your answer sheet, find the number of the question and mark your answer. You are permitted to take notes for every part of this listening test. Now, here are the directions for Part 1. In this part, you will hear 10 dialogues, number 1 through number 10. Each dialogue will be followed by one question. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The dialogue and the question will be given only once.
Now we will begin the Grade 1 listening test. Number 1.
You look worried, Stanley. What's up?
Oh, nothing much. Just the deadline we face for starting production of the JX6 model.
As I said before, you should talk to the director. He needs to know April is unreasonable, especially given the delay in testing.
Yeah, but I think we could still make it if everyone was willing to put in extra hours and come in on a few weekends.
If you tried that, you'd have a revolt on your hands.
Question. What does the woman suggest the man do?
Number 2.
How's the job hunting going, Greg?
I've decided to put it off for a bit, Mom.
Opportunities don't just show up at the door, you know. You've got to go looking for them.
I know, but I need a rest from all that.
Well, graduation isn't far off, so you'll have to leave the dormitory soon. And don't forget, your father is using your old room as a study.
You mean I can't?
I wouldn't count on it. I'd seriously reconsider taking a break right now.
Question. What does Greg's mother tell him?
Number 3.
Can I help you with anything, ma'am?
Yes, I'm looking for some plants for my yard. The area gets a lot of sun and the soil is quite rocky. What do you suggest?
You might consider some non-native flowering plants like these.
They're very pretty, but aren't they difficult to grow?
Actually, no. They're very hardy.
I see that they're a bit pricey.
That's because they live for years. You don't have to replant every spring.
In that case, I'll take 5 of them.
Question. What is one reason the woman chooses the non-native plants?
Number 4.
Christopher, did you prepare the list of patients with overdue accounts?
It's right here. Do you want me to bill them again?
Yes, and mark the bills as payable immediately.
Should I add a surcharge for reissuing them?
No, but don't forget to add the standard fee of 10% for any accounts over 90 days late.
There seem to be a lot of overdue accounts. It might be worth rethinking our billing practices.
You're probably right. Most clinics expect payment at the time treatment is given.
Question. What does the man suggest they consider?
Number 5.
Thanks for lending me your suitcase for my trip home, Stefan.
No problem, Tomoko. Have you taken care of your visa?
My student visa's still valid.
Yeah, but unless the university signs your I-20 permission form, you won't be able to get back into the U.S. You're supposed to submit the form to the International Affairs Office 2 weeks before you travel.
But I leave in 3 days.
Maybe they can put a rush on the paperwork.
Question. What is the woman's problem?
Number 6.
Colin, we need to talk.
What about?
You keep interfering with how I run the team.
What do you mean, Sandra?
Take yesterday's meeting. You changed the agenda without consulting me first.
I can't tell you every last detail.
And I heard that you told the team I was a bad manager.
Who told you that?
Listen, I know you resent me being given a position you felt was yours. But get used to it. I'm the one who writes the performance reviews now, you know.
Question. What does Sandra tell Colin?
Number 7.
Did you hear about that inventor who is suing his company?
No, why is he doing that?
He created a new electrical component, and his company made millions on it. He didn't get his fair share.
Didn't they give him a decent bonus?
They say they did, but he says it's not enough because his gadget made them a fortune.
But he didn't do it all by himself, Shirley. He must have used company facilities and staff.
But he still had to come up with the idea.
It sounds to me like he's being a bit selfish. Nothing these days is a one-man show.
Question. What does the woman think?
Number 8.
IT Group, Bill Friedman speaking.
Bill, this is Gloria Bailey in marketing. I was told 2 weeks ago that I needed to change my password, but to be honest, it slipped my mind. Now I can't access the network.
Okay, Gloria. I'll have to ask you to come over here so that I can verify your company ID and have you fill out a form.
I see. I've got a meeting in a few minutes. Would 1 o'clock this afternoon be all right?
That's fine. See you then.
Question. What problem does the woman have?
Number 9.
So, Svetlana, how's the new apartment? Word has it you're not too happy.
It's not that we don't like it. It's spacious and has an incredible view. The neighbors are friendly too.
Sounds pretty nice. So what's the catch?
The building is 30 years old, and there are a number of little things that have gone wrong, like clogged pipes, problems with the built-in dishwasher, things like that. We even had a water leak.
But surely the landlord would fix those kinds of issues for you, no?
Well, he blamed the blocked pipes on us, and he's slow to get other things fixed. We still have no working dishwasher.
That's ridiculous, especially for the rent you're paying.
Exactly what we thought.
So what are you going to do?
We did some research online, and it seems we may be within our legal rights to take action ourselves. We sent the landlord a formal complaint in writing. If he doesn't respond within the next 30 days, we may have to pay for the repairs out of our own pocket and then withhold that amount from the rent.
Well, I hope it all works out for you.
Question. What is the woman's complaint about her apartment?
Number 10.
Well, Kirsten, we're coming to the end of the interview. You seem well qualified for the position. We'll need to meet you one more time before we can make an official offer, though I think that should just be a formality.
I understand, but we still haven't discussed salary and other benefits.
Unfortunately, I can't give you precise details right now, but they'll be very similar to what you were getting at your former company.
Okay, well, that should be acceptable. I know the contract period begins from April, but is there any way to move that forward?
I'm afraid the position won't be available until April. I realize you're in between jobs and are looking for something beginning sooner.
That's right. I have 2 children to support.
Isn't there something you can find in the short term?
I doubt it. To be honest, I may have to look for something more immediate, though I am still interested in this position.
Thanks for your honesty, Kirsten. We do hope this works out, though. And let me confirm one more time, you're willing to work weekends on occasion and have no trouble travelling on business trips?
That's fine. My husband can always look after the kids when that happens. Please let me know when you'd like to schedule the final interview.
Question. What is one thing we learned about Kirsten?
Here are the directions for Part 2. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, A through E. Each passage will be followed by 2 questions, number 11 through number 20. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage and the questions will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
A. Gut bacteria. While pharmaceutical companies have convinced many of us that modern life is a fight against germs, our guts are actually home to trillions of microbes. The microbes in our stomach and intestines play a vital role in the digestive system and affect our vulnerability to diseases such as diabetes and some forms of cancer. However, anthropologist Cecil Lewis believes the lifestyles and diets of modern Americans and citizens of other industrialized nations have brought about significant changes in the type and number of microbes in their guts. To test his theory, Lewis traveled to the Amazon region of South America to study the Matses, one of the world's last hunter-gatherer tribes. There, he took samples of human waste to investigate gut microbe content and then compared them with samples taken in the US. What Lewis discovered was astonishing. There is a far more diverse range of microbes living in the guts of the Matses, including ancient species also found in hunter-gatherer communities on other continents. These microbes are completely absent in the guts of humans in the US. The question researchers are now looking to answer is whether limited microbe diversity influences the well-being of those living in industrialized countries.
Questions. Number 11. Why did Cecil Lewis examine microbes in the guts of the Matses people? Number 12. What do researchers now hope to determine?
B. Tackling scalping. Scalping, the reselling of tickets for sports events and concerts for a profit, is a common money-making practice in many countries. Scalping is all about supply and demand. Fans are willing to pay extra to get sought-after tickets for popular events. Various laws have been passed over the years to try to prevent scalping, but market forces make it simply inevitable. Scalping is big business, worth more than $4.5 billion a year in the U.S. Sports teams are aware that they cannot stop scalping outright, so some of them have introduced systems of ticket selling that they have more control over. One professional hockey team, the Los Angeles Kings, has an online system in which buyers of multiple tickets for one game are charged more per ticket than fans who buy a single ticket. Moreover, if buyers want to resell their tickets, they can only do so electronically through an official LA Kings website. This means the LA Kings also take a cut of the proceeds from the resold tickets. Critics of such measures, however, argue that buying a ticket should mean the buyer has the right to do whatever he or she wants with it.
Questions. Number 13. What is one point the speaker makes about scalping? Number 14. How have the Los Angeles Kings dealt with scalping? C. Dealing with death. A majority of elderly people in the developed world die in hospitals or other healthcare institutions instead of in the comfort of their own homes. As patients' conditions worsen, the number of surgeries and other treatments they undergo often skyrockets, leading to enormous medical costs and great stress for both patients and their relatives. According to some research, these procedures are rarely effective and may do more harm than good. In 2010, a study of patients with a fatal type of lung cancer was conducted. Those whose care was focused on simply relieving their symptoms and mental stress lived at least as long as those who underwent surgery or other physically demanding treatments. Harvard physician and author Dr. Atul Gawande argues for an alternative approach to dying. While Gawande admits that doctors are partly to blame for the overuse of measures such as surgery, he says the key to change lies with the attitudes of patients. By accepting that death is inevitable and focusing on improving the quality of their final days, patients will make decisions regarding any treatment accordingly. By doing so, Gawande believes patients can pass away with more dignity.
Questions. Number 15. What did the 2010 study reveal about terminally ill patients? Number 16. How does Dr. Atul Gawande believe end-of-life care should change?
D. Petrospheres. In the 1930s, workers clearing land in Costa Rica for a banana plantation uncovered some ancient rocks called petrospheres that are nearly perfectly round. Subsequent excavations in the area uncovered over 300 petrospheres, ranging in diameter from a few centimeters to just over 2 meters. Based on pottery and other items found alongside the petrospheres, archaeologists believe they were made by an indigenous people sometime between AD 600 and 1500. The archaeologists say the petrosphere's function will likely remain a mystery because the culture of the petrosphere's creators was destroyed during the Spanish conquest, and no written records from the culture remain. Experts believe the Costa Rican petrospheres are human-made because of their near-perfect shape and smooth texture, but some petrospheres do occur naturally. Wherever petrospheres are found, whether they are natural or human-made, they are integrated into local legends. The Maori people of New Zealand, for example, believe petrospheres are the remains of containers that washed ashore when the canoe that brought their people to New Zealand was destroyed. Likewise, many modern Costa Ricans believe the story that the petrospheres there were originally from the lost city of Atlantis.
Questions. Number 17. What do archaeologists say about the Costa Rican petrospheres? Number 18. What do petrospheres around the world have in common? E. Environmental protection laws. Despite the growth in environmental consciousness in recent years, there are many barriers to the passage of legislation designed to protect nature. For instance, many politicians believe that environmental regulation reduces companies' competitiveness and can negatively impact employment rates. These assumptions have become so common in government thinking that they often prevent the passage of environmental protection laws. Many environmentalists, however, believe laws protecting nature and animal habitats have far-reaching fiscal benefits. According to environmentalist Tony Juniper, pest-eating birds, for example, add a value of $1,500 per hectare to timber forests by protecting trees from insects. Juniper also says that in an experiment in a Dutch apple orchard, insect-eating birds led to a 50% increase in the harvest. What's more, the global value of insects like honeybees, which are essential for pollinating agricultural crops, has been estimated at $190 billion per year. Unfortunately, bird habitats are being destroyed, and bees are being killed by pesticides. According to Juniper, the annual global cost of ecological degradation is $6.6 trillion per year. In his view, it is essential to use the law to protect the environment.
Questions. Number 19. What is one thing the speaker says about environmental protection laws? Number 20. What is one argument Tony Juniper makes?
Here are the directions for Part 3. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, F through J. The passages represent real-life situations and may contain sound effects. Each passage will have one question, number 21 through number 25. Before each passage, you will have 10 seconds to read the situation and question written in your test booklet. After you hear the passage, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
F. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 21.
Computer Planet is having a massive clearance sale this weekend on hundreds of desktop and laptop computers. Get savings that are out of this world. Check out the discount coupons on our website to save up to $100. You can also trade in your used computer for credit toward purchasing a new one. And we're offering fantastic freebies. Want a mouse to go with your new computer? To receive a free wireless model from one of our top brands, simply attend one of our free computer workshops held on Saturday. Or make a purchase of $350 or more anytime this weekend. Also, the first 50 customers to arrive on Saturday and Sunday mornings will receive a complimentary, colorful Computer Planet mousepad. Don't miss your chance to score one of the best deals around this weekend at Computer Planet.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
G. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 22.
You've reached the information line at Blue Canyon National Park. The park has over 250 miles of wilderness trails. Hikers must register at the Welcome Center upon arrival, and anyone staying overnight must use our official campsites. Reservations can be made on a first-come, first-served basis by clicking on the reservations icon on the main page of our website. Each campsite can only be booked for a maximum of 2 nights, so plan your route accordingly, and remember, the sites fill up quickly from May through September. Campers also must obtain a campfire permit, which costs $10. This can be done when you register upon arrival. Parking near the trailheads costs $5 per day, and payment must be made at the booth just inside the park entrance. Thank you for your interest in Blue Canyon National Park.
Now, mark your answer on your answer sheet.
H. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 23.
Well, the run-up was chaotic, but the event last week turned out very positively. I'm glad the event planning software you requested was as useful as you hoped. However, as you know, I'll be overseas for the next few weeks and am concerned about your workload getting out of control. I'm not suggesting you cut back on the number of events or conferences, but I think trying to handle more than one a month under the current conditions is asking for trouble. If you're planning more, let's hire a freelance event planner so you can concentrate on the promotional aspects rather than on all the details of event setup and teardown. By early next year, we should be ready to bring on a full-time event manager. Meanwhile, keep up the good work and let me know when the next event is.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
I. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 24.
As you know, the mole on your neck has changed colour a little, so we're going to remove it. There's only a small chance the biopsy will reveal melanoma, but we should stay on the safe side. The surgery is scheduled for 11 a.m. on Tuesday, but please arrive at reception 30 minutes beforehand. The procedure itself is short, and you'll only have a local anaesthetic. I'll prescribe an antibiotic afterward to prevent infection. This may cause you some stomach discomfort. You said you had a reaction to an antibiotic when you were younger. Try to find out which drug it was and notify me so I can decide which one is safe to give you. Since this is minor surgery, you won't have to skip breakfast on the day. Just avoid taking a shower for 24 hours after the surgery and no baths for a week.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
J. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 25.
Our sponsorship program, eWin, helps startups progress to the next level and develop a fully viable business model through in-depth coaching sessions and support. Participants not only get access to our vast network of venture capitalists and mentors, but also receive a $30,000 grant. You'll need to fill out the application on the eWin website. It asks about your startup's focus, your current stage of product development, and your fundraising to date. eWin spots are highly competitive, so you'll have to explain what differentiates your startup from others. If that's not clear to the selection committee, you won't get picked. So you've got to work that out before starting the application. Also, I know you have ambitions to expand into the world of finance IT, but since your startup relates to the security sector, it'd be best to just focus on that sector when applying.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
Finally, here are the directions for Part 4. In this part, you will hear an interview. The interview will be followed by 2 questions, number 26 and number 27. For each question, You will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The interview and the questions will be given only once.
This is an interview with Suan Ren, who is a manager at a large consulting firm in Australia.
Hello, Suan, and welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much for having me.
So could you briefly tell us what it is you do?
Sure. So my team provides accounting and finance advisory services to chief financial officers and their teams. We work with clients across all industries, but my main focus is on government clients.
Right. And so what would you say some of the main challenges are now that you experience in that position as a consultant?
Well, there are multiple challenges like poor data, uncooperative teams, tight time frames. It really depends on the client and the project. We offer such a wide range of services. Every project is different, which is a challenge in itself.
Right. Do you find most clients cooperative or receptive to your advice?
I guess it really depends on who you're talking to at the client. So generally, the CFO and the more senior managers at the client team are very cooperative and very receptive. So they're usually quite involved in the project themselves, or they've attended progress meetings, or they've reviewed our draft reports. So they've been along for the journey and they're more aware of the basis of our advice.
Right, okay.
Where we tend to get some pushback is in the more junior levels of the finance team or in the non-finance areas of the client. So, the people who haven't had much exposure to the project, they might be a bit more reluctant to give us their time or to take on some of our suggestions.
Many people have an image of government agencies as being very bureaucratic and inefficient. Would you agree?
Well, I think it's fair to say that government agencies could be more efficient. But in my experience, a lot of the inefficiencies in government finance teams actually stems from an underinvestment in people and systems. So the finance function is often seen as a non-essential back office support service. So agencies prioritize spending on essential frontline services. For example, a hospital is likely to spend more money on doctors and nurses rather than spend money on, for example, integrating the finance systems across 2 locations. So I think efficiency would definitely improve across all of government if agencies made the necessary upgrades to their finance systems and offered more training to upskill their finance staff.
What qualities or kinds of skills does someone in your position need to do the job well?
I think it's really important to have good interpersonal skills because you need to be able to interact with all levels of the organization, from graduates to executives, both finance and non-finance personnel who may or may not be willing to give you their time. So you need the skills to be able to overcome any pushback you might encounter and, be able to communicate things in a way that achieves the buy-in that you need.
Has the use of high-tech devices been a help or hindrance in your line of work?
Technology has made my work environment a lot more flexible, which is great. Having the ability to work in the office or at the client side or even work from home, is something that I find very valuable. But at the same time, it means that you're always connected. So it's really easy to get caught up in work emails after hours or on the weekends. And it does become a bit hard to disconnect sometimes.
I think we all experience that. Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Questions. Number 26. What is one thing Suan says about her clients? Number 27. What is one thing Suan says about the finance systems of government agencies?
Your time is up. Stop writing and wait quietly until the answer sheets have been collected.